There is nothing you cannot do.
If you've been sleeping under a rock and you haven't heard of or binge-watched Bridgerton yet, then what are you waiting for? This wildly popular original Netflix series has taken the world by storm and quickly became rated #1 in most countries across the globe. Bridgerton is a Netflix series from Shondaland, the production company of the prolific writer Shonda Rhimes. She is best known for being the executive producer and the head writer of the long-time incredibly popular medical series Grey's Anatomy. So you already know Bridgerton is going to be a great series, and it surely doesn't disappoint. In today's video, we're going to cover some of the best behind-the-scenes moments from the TV show. But before we get into the video, don't forget to leave a like and subscribe to the channel with notifications so you don't miss out on any new videos we post. What is Bridgerton about? Before we delve into the behind-the-scenes moments, we thought it was only right to give you a little backstory if you haven't watched it or finished the series yet. Warning, there may be some spoilers ahead, so if you plan on watching the series in the future, proceed with caution. Bridgerton first launched on Netflix on December 25th, 2020. It came out with one season only, but many have speculated there definitely will be more to come in the future as fans eagerly wait for the arrival of season 2. Now, what happens in Bridgerton? Since I don't want to give away too many details, I won't make this too detailed, just enough to get you excited to binge watch straight after this YouTube video. The story follows a woman named Daphne. She's the eldest daughter of the very powerful and mighty Bridgerton family. She is now old enough to make her awaited debut on Regency London's competitive marriage market. Just to be clear, Bridgerton is set in 1813, where life is completely different from the modern lives we live today. Anyway, Daphne aims to emulate her parents and find a match that is sparked by true love. Meanwhile, her older brother begins to rule out potential suitors while the mysterious Lady Whistletown writes a high society so-called scandal sheet which casts aspersions on Daphne and others in the community. This leads to Daphne and her siblings' romantic entanglements being keenly watched by mothers who want to make sure their children are well matched. Now, obviously, this is just a very brief overview of the show, but you can get the gist and the overall picture of what the show is about, but we highly recommend heading over to Netflix and starting the season. You won't be disappointed. Best behind-the-scenes moments. When it comes to the filming of Bridgerton, it was not as straightforward and easy of a process as you might have thought. Executive producer and Shonda Rhimes' unspoken protege, Chris Van Dusen, had this to say about the filming process. I'll be very honest, nothing about this show has been easy, but at the end of the day, that's what makes it all more rewarding. When I watched the first cut, I was just overwhelmed with pride. I've always wanted to be involved with a period show, but make one that's different. It's vibrant and sensual and sexy. We wanted to take what's always been a traditionally conservative genre and turn it on its head. In case you haven't watched all 8 episodes yet, we'll try not to give too much away, but we have to fill you in on some behind-the-scenes moments from the show. Phoebe Dynevor was nervous about the ballroom dancing scenes. Phoebe Dynevor, who plays the main character of Daphne, opened up and admitted she was actually quite nervous about the dancing scenes, saying, "I've never particularly been a good dancer, and I was a little bit worried about that. But it's a real bonding experience for all the actors to be thrown into this world and get to play together." Her fellow co-star, Freddie Stroma, who happens to play Prince Friedrich in the show, said that he also had those same fears and nerves when it came to dancing, but the choreographer Jack Murphy was an excellent teacher, and even tailored certain moves to fit each different character, stating he understands dance and time periods, and that we're layering in elements that aren't necessarily historically accurate, Stroma says. Case in point, musical arrangements to Taylor Swift and Ariana Grande songs. It ends up being really fun. It seems as though many actors and actresses on the show were not very thrilled when it comes to the dancing scenes. However, they were quickly put to ease by the amazing crew and ended up having a great time with their fellow castmates. Phoebe claims she has a lot in common with her character. Phoebe believes that she relates quite a lot to her character Daphne. When asked in an interview by Glamour magazine, she had this to say, "I felt her emotion and everything she was going through. Daphne is very much putting on a front to be someone she thinks people wanted her to be, versus what's her, and I have felt that as well." Phoebe opens up about the fact that social media hasn't been good for her because of the constant pressure to appear perfect and appeal to what others want you to be rather than what's underneath and what is the real you. Daphne has to wear nearly 100 dresses over the course of the first season. Unbelievable. Throughout the 8 episodes in the first season of Bridgerton, Phoebe's character wears an astounding 93 dresses. Yes, you heard that right. 93 dresses. When asked about this fact, Phoebe says, "I had 93 dresses. That's just mad. They're all made from scratch and hand embroidered. And there are 6 people making just Daphne's dresses." When Glamour magazine interviewed costume designer John Glasser, he revealed that he started manufacturing these gowns almost 9 months before they started filming. Not only did they start almost a year before they started filming, but all of the dresses came from different places all over the world, including Madrid, Budapest, New York, London, and Florence. Even with the huge head start in the contribution worldwide. The costume team was still making costumes during the filming process as well. The Featherington sisters aren't meant to come across as the Kardashians of the 19th century. When Glamour magazine asked Nicola Coughlan, a star on the show, about the Featherington sisters, she had this to say. Penelope is old school Chloe. Remember, Chloe used to say, I'm the redheaded stepchild, and I have to do everything for everyone. I think that's Penelope. But then, Chloe came back and is flying high. Coughlan continues claiming that she thinks Penelope will follow on this similar path in future seasons. But for now, she's definitely the sister who constantly and is consistently left out. Prudence and Philippa are terrible to her. And then Lady Portia Featherington is a true Kris Jenner, the ultimate momager. She's very ambitious for her girls, says Collington. Nicola Collington was working in a doctor's office before her career took off. Before her acting career took off, Nicola Collington, who plays Penelope Featherington on Bridgerton, and Claire Devlin in the popular show Dairy Girls, actually worked in a doctor's office at a fairly mundane job. In fact, she worked for an optometrist's office part-time. Collington said to Glamour magazine in an interview, I walked around every day going, I can't believe I'm part of Shonda Rhimes' show on Netflix. I don't know what has happened. I think my imposter syndrome is at an all-time high. I was the girl who tells you when your eye test is due. I used to practice my autograph on the letters, so this is insane to me. I wake up every day so grateful for my job. Regé-Jean Page was highly drawn to the modern aspects of the Duke of Hastings character. Regé-Jean Page plays Simon Bassett in Bridgerton, the leading male character. When Glamour magazine sat down with Page, he admitted that he cares very deeply about the character he plays, saying, I have a version of this man in my head, and I care very deeply about him. Page claimed his main goal with the character of Simon Bassett was to construct and deconstruct what complex and broken men look like and accurately represent romance in the 21st century, claiming, for instance, what is enticing, what is toxic, what needs to be redeemed, what cannot be redeemed, and what work needs to be done to make that an interesting story that is relevant to men and women in the 21st century. And that excites me very much. Page hopes the portrayal of his character leaves viewers shocked, appalled, and delighted all at once, which we can confirm was accomplished. There are multiple hidden details in Queen Charlotte's looks. Golda Roshchova, who plays Queen Charlotte, reveals that there are many hidden details in all of her looks that many viewers may have missed or may not be aware of. Every single scene that I'm in, I have a different wig and different dress, Roshchova says. In fact, during the day of filming in the Ingenue Ball, Roshchova was wearing 2 wigs to bring the Queen's look to life. It's a wig on top of a wig, and then 3 feathers, which are real hair and crafted by hand. There's also a fascinating detail featured in episode 3. There's a subtle but noticeable teardrop on Queen Charlotte's cheek. You may not notice it at first, Roshchova says, but it's a little detail that is just so beautiful. So every look is different. It takes about half an hour to get costumes on, and takes 2 people to put me in. I'm even double corseted. It's a challenge, but it's one that I'm very, very happy to do. And there you have it, some behind the scenes moments from Bridgerton that we bet you had no idea about. If you're a huge fan of the show just like us, then finding out these facts was very surprising but very interesting, investing you even further in the Bridgerton realm. We cannot wait for season 2 to drop. Unfortunately, that's all the time we have for today's video, but don't forget to like and subscribe for more awesome content.